Hey guys, my name is Bob, and I am DeltaGo123 on Fox. Now, this is just going to be videos of like hopefully helping people to improve Go. It's basically made more for like DDK players or maybe SDK players, maybe even lower Dan players. Myself, like last time I played seriously was like 25 years ago. I got to like a higher 4 Dan on AGA. I don't really know what that would be on Fox. But since I haven't really played that much in 25 years, and I haven't really played a game in like 12 years, I initially rated myself at 5K on Fox because I thought I would like regress a lot having not touched Go for a long time. But however, that wasn't the case. And within one night, I won enough games to get up to 3K. As you can see, I have 16 wins and one loss. The one loss was because I just took a chance. I was like, if I was playing myself, I would definitely answer this move, but I'm not going to because I don't think he can kill this group. But he ended up killing half the group, so that guy was better than the average 5K. There were two 5Ks that I actually played in the 15 games, my first 15 games, that were definitely better than the average 5K. And I could tell they were better because they were thinking a little differently. They didn't make nearly as many mistakes as the other 5K. So either they had people helping them, or like they're kind of spoofing, kind of like me. I'm not really spoofing. I just rank myself really low because I haven't played in such a long time, and I thought I would regress. But the fighting strength is so different between me and other 5Ks that it was really easy for me to come up. And I just won a game or two at 3K too, and it wasn't that hard. So the thing about improving in Go is like if you're a DDK player, you want to watch players that are like better than you are, but like not so much better than you are that you won't understand their moves. Like if you're a DDK player or like maybe even a low SDK player, you want to watch like a high SDK player, maybe a low Dan player actually play, because you would be better at understanding what they're thinking than maybe like a 9 Dan pro, because their thinking is a lot more abstract than yours. The better you are in Go, the more you're able to kind of like relate to the entire, like how your move affects the entire board rather than just like one single instant. Like it's kind of like a war, right? Like lower players generally like focus on the battle at hand, whereas higher players can see like the entire war, and each move they make actually helps them in that. So they can use like one battle to actually give them advantage in the other battle. So that's where you actually see like the difference between lower ranked players and higher ranked players. And I think this will be interesting, especially the first couple of episodes I do, because I will actually be playing people that are probably quite a bit weaker than I am. And I will show you like, why I'm winning in these games over them. Like what's their thought process, like what they're doing wrong, and why some of their moves to me don't make any sense at all. If you're like a high, like 8, 9 Dan player, you'll probably just laugh at this because you're better than me. And a lot of the stuff I do won't really make sense. And I do play differently right now than like when I actually get like a stable ranking. I probably will stabilize somewhere like in the mid Dans most likely. And climbing up, I think that's a really good learning opportunity for a lot of people to see like, how like maybe a lower Dan, mid Dan player thinks versus like, like a mid like single digit Q player. Like I said, my highest ranking in the AGAs was like 4 Dan, which is probably like 5, 6 Dan on Fox. So you'll see like the difference in thinking between like me and some of the lower Q players. Most of them are easy wins. I'll win within like the first 50, 60 moves. Essentially, like it'll be clear that I won by then. And like you'll see like why the fighting strength differs from me and them and how my thinking process differs from me and them. So that's going to be my introduction, and let's get on to a game. All right, another game. I won 3 games as 3K. None of those games made for good explanation. So I'm going to start here. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do what I always do, my starting. And the 3 connected dots, that's my favorite. And then I'm going to build for thickness instead of just like territory at first. Building for thickness and territory are 2 different ways of playing. If you build for territory, if you actually build for territory, you are basically, if you build for territory, you are essentially building to just basically win just off the solid points you get. If you're building off of thickness, if you're trying to build off thickness, what you're essentially trying to do is use the influence and the thickness that you get from building this to actually get points and basically kill other people's groups. That's what you actually do. Like, see, he has to do that. I can actually keep on attacking him, or I could just build up the territory down here, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So as he runs his group, I'm essentially getting more territory as he runs. That's the thing of it. That's how you use thickness to actually build points. Now, like, I got a couple points down here because he's running this group and I'm building the territory as he runs. You can either, you don't have, when you attack a group, what some of the lower players don't understand is when you attack a group, you don't actually have to kill that group to get your goal. You just have to use that attack to actually gain territory. And a lot of times that's actually a lot more, that's actually better, essentially, that's actually a lot better a lot of the time than actually, than actually killing the group, because killing the group a lot of times is kind of hard. But if you use your influence to gain territory, it's much easier. See, this particular group still doesn't have a way out. And what I'm doing is I'm just chasing it along, and then I'm going to use it to build up my bottom territory. Like, he has to do things like that. Whereas, I can just kind of like threaten him with this, and then he kind of has to let me build my territory. And my territory down there. Now, there's still a lot of gaping holes down here. I will say there is still a lot of gaping holes down here. I won't deny that. But you can see like where this is coming to fruition. Like as I chase him down, I can put more stones. I can definitely put more stones down here, while basically just completely chasing him. I have to cut him off, obviously, while still completely chasing him, and basically like making him help me build the territory on the bottom. Now, all this time, I never really lose track of the group I'm actually chasing. I never really lose track of the group I'm actually chasing. Oh wait, I screwed that up. Oh well. Shoot, I screwed up. Did I? No, I actually didn't. I'm going to play just to cut off this group and kill it, so he's going to have to respond. He has to respond there. So I basically get to respond by just connecting here. And now I've built up a lot of territory on the bottom while chasing this group. And he's gotten very, very little he's actually gotten very, very little territory off of this. So obviously, and I can just connect this to seal that off. He lives, yes, so he's probably happy that he actually lives. But I'm like way more happy because not only did I build up my corner group, I actually disrupted his territory down here as well. Now the corner is still not sealed off, unfortunately. I'm going to try to make him help me seal it off. I don't know what he's doing. Just not going to let him live. He has to jump out. So I'm going to follow this group now. And he's still in danger because if I do this, he doesn't have an eye yet. I'm still eyeing like this down here. I'm really still eyeing this thing down here because there's a lot of points here to actually be made. Like my groups are more out on the perimeter, so they're not in as much trouble, whereas his group is actually in a lot of trouble. I wouldn't say a lot of trouble, but at least some trouble. And I can always go for the kind of like, if I get this point, I can always just try to go for the co-steal right here. But, that's another thing altogether. So that's how you use influence to build your territory. And that's something that lower queues and definitely double-digit queues, they don't really understand that concept. And it actually hurts them a lot. So I'm actually going to just leave that alone right now and go down here. Also, like better players, like stronger players, tend to understand more that you don't have to play something until the end. You can opt to not play something to the end. This was a bad move by me. But you know what? I can just do this. Exactly what I wanted from him. Now I get that. Now he might try to break off my lower group. I'm actually going to connect this. That's actually a really bad move because I think I just killed this group down here. Pretty sure I just did. I know I have more liberties than him, and he can't fight me on this. Because like this is a ladder. This, if I do this and follow one down, that's a ladder right there. There's not much you can do about that. So this is a This is just a big miscalculation on his part, where he basically sacrificed like 20 points or more. That is the power of using your influence to build territory and capitalizing on mistakes. When there are several groups fighting, see, this is just it's kind of a bad move because I can just do that. He still has to, he honestly still has to fix some of the stuff up there. Otherwise, it's not going to work for him.
Yoyomi now starts.
I think I can just do this. I still have 2 liberties over there. And if he curls, I'm going to connect. Because I don't care if he lives the corner right now. I don't know if he can even. I really don't care if he lives the corner right now. If I just kill his eye, I can easily beat him in terms of like fighting. And I care about more about killing this group than making sure the corner actually dies. See, I'm just going to do this because doing this actually allows me to beat him by 1 liberty. And it's still my turn afterwards. And like I said, you don't have to play things until the end. Like doing this doesn't make any sense. Doing this honestly makes 0 sense to him because he's wasting
Yoyomi now starts.
He's wasting co-value by playing this till the end. All this could have been incredible co-value for him. If he actually, all this could have been really, really incredible co-value for him. See, I'm not even going to bother to answer that because that doesn't make any sense. And like, instead of answering that, I'm just going to kill this corner. See, that's just another bad move. Like, oh crap. Oh man. Oh yeah, I made a mistake. Never mind. I forgot those. I completely forgot that wasn't connected, but I got the main thing, but I did sacrifice some points. So that was my mistake. But now I'm going to attack you know, this, I'm actually going to do this first. And then after I do this, I am actually going to attack this corner. That's actually not a good move for him because now like these four are in danger. If you want to play that way, I can play that way too. And also he has like a lot of deficiencies here. Because I can do this. And he can't answer me on that. So there's too many ways for me to play this for him. So obviously, like, I destroy his territory, and that was the entire goal. Just gonna take this so there's like, yeah. But yeah, that was a big overplay for me. That was a big misplay for me right there. And we're gonna do this. This is a big misplay for me down here. Shouldn't have done that. That was just me being careless. Should have saw that coming. Should have seen that coming.
Nine.
Oh, it's me playing bad now. That's a bad play. You know, if I played, I definitely would have like Atari'd this way. Let me take this inner piece, but then just cut off these four right here, because that's a lot bigger. I don't think there's a way he can actually win this particular fight. Can he? I'm not really sure. Well, I'm going to do that first. Because I have 6 liberties. That's not a bad move, but it's not a great one either. But if I do this, he can't do anything. You have to calculate all these possibilities before you actually make them. Because right now, he can't do anything. And I still have a little bit room.
9.
I still have a little bit of room for expansion over here. So I'm going to take this stone. He has 4 liberties. I have 6. He's going to try to disconnect me, but I can just do this and live, so I don't see the point in that particular move. I have 5 liberties. He has 4. I still have... No, I have... I have 4. He has 4. So he does get that corner, sort of, but once again, for him, this is not worth playing outright. Well, I guess it is sort of worth because I can still invade. But overall, I mean, it's a really bad play for him. That's completely irrelevant. That's not even that big. This point right here is way bigger than that one. That's probably like a 15-point move at least. Whereas that's probably 4 or 5 points. So got a huge advantage there. And what would he do if I do this? He has no way to... Well, he does have a way to block it, I guess. I can do that and basically lessen his liberties, but it's not really worth it. Just going to go ahead and do that on the corner. Can I kill him down here? I don't think so, but I might be able to. I don't think so. But I know this now. I don't know if this is like a first hand move here. It's pretty big. But I am actually going to do this. That corner is pretty big. This is probably the biggest thing right now. That one. And then this is pretty big too. So like this is pretty big as well. Yeah, that's he made the right move there. I'm gonna secure that corner. And now he probably should do that. Or he can try to do that. But this is not really all that strong of a move because I can just do that. Like, I don't have to always block you. I honestly don't always have to block you. When you advance, I can just, you know, back off a little bit. I'm choosing this instead of this because I actually get my move back if I do this. And I retain the initiative if I do that. Which gives me ability to do things like this. The real screw up I made in this game is basically these four down here. That should never have happened. That should never have happened. I go ahead and extend here. I think that's a couple of points. It's probably not the best move. This is a much better move. And that's also a much better move. So this is going to be a much better move. It's also a really big move here. I don't know if he definitely needed to do that, but because this was open, I'm not really sure if that would have been like dead or a Kolev. Not exactly sure how that works. Now I can do this. If all the liberties were tightened, I might have actually been able to play for like a Ko thing, but I'm not really, since the liberties aren't tightened, I'm not going to go ahead and do that. And that would actually be depending on him to mess up over here. So like even in situations like this, there is a lot of like plays to actually be had. I think I'm pretty far ahead in this game, so I'm just going to go ahead and I think I'm fairly far ahead in this game, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish. Gonna do this because I don't have to, but I think I'm just gonna do this just in case I don't make mistakes. If I'm far enough ahead, I will just like make sure I don't. If I think I'm far enough ahead, I will just make sure I don't make mistakes. Because it doesn't really matter if you win by 1 point or if you win by 100 points. It's kind of the same thing. Winning by 1 point and winning by a lot of points, not different at all. Same thing. Exact same thing. I don't think there's anything there. I think there's a small advantages of him doing that. But if I just threw the bottom, I don't think there's anything there. Yeah, there's nothing there. That's dumb. That's just giving me a point. You have to count your make sure to count your liberties before you do something like that. It's 3 against 2. And that doesn't give him any kind of advantage. Well, I guess it gives him a little bit of advantage, like maybe a point or so. So I guess it's worth doing. I could have played that better, but I don't really care. It's fine. I do this and then not forget to do this. Then he's going to do that, and I'm going to take the stones. Or that. Oh, yeah, this thing. Oh, I totally forgot about that. Totally forgot about that. There's nothing there. He knows it. I know it too. Just gonna do this first. Don't really feel like playing the ko with him, but that's a point. Nothing you can do, man. Just fill in the points. Nothing you can do here. There's nothing here, man. And I will take. Then he can just use this ko thing, and I'm gonna just connect or something. I don't feel like playing the ko with him. Why would you do that? There's no points there. So I'm just gonna connect the ko. Game's over. Game is freaking over. Now we just fill in the liberties because there's nothing else to do. Game is over. Some servers you have to fill in the liberties, other servers you don't. I don't know about Fox, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill them. And now I'm going to pass. Because there is nothing left on this board. Pretty sure I won by like 20 points. And that's fine. I usually win by more than 20 points. The game almost never ends. So yeah, I won by 18 and 3 half-stones, which means it's about 20 points. So now I'm like 20 and 1. So that kind of is how like my thinking differs from other 3Ks thinking. I will try to get better and improve on this in terms of my explanations. But basically, like, these two fights, like in this corner and over here, kind of like show my thought process a lot better than like in comparison to other 3Ks. Because other 3Ks, I think they're a little bit more focused on the situation at hand, and they don't actually look at the entire board. And plus their fighting strength is just like not that much greater. And my fighting strength is just much greater. Like this invasion over here, that should have definitely, like, this move should have failed most definitely. Like this play by him is a really good play. I was kind of at a loss here. But then, like, I did that, he did that. So when I did this, when I cut here, he Atari'd the wrong way. That is a disastrous move. If he actually Atari'd the other way, he could have easily won this game because he would have taken these 4 stones instead. And that might have given him enough territory to actually win the game. So like you have to understand like how to you have to understand how to make trades. Like giving me this space in here isn't that big of a deal. As long as you can, because this is already connected, there's no risk of you dying anywhere. And plus like this corner is really hard to kill. So I wouldn't be able to do that. So like the value play here, the value play definitely here is to let me survive in here, get it like 20 points in here, but cut off the 20 points here to solidify your territory. Because with this territory and like these, and this thing I screwed up on, that might actually be enough territory for him to win. But this was disastrous because that basically just gave basically gave over the stones in there. And of course, he didn't calculate this out. I knew how this would as soon as he Atari'd that way, I knew how this would actually come out. And like I said, don't play this out. Do not play this out. Because if you play this out, if there's a ko in the future, you can't use these as ko material. And if, obviously, you really don't want to play this out. You're just wasting ko material. Like, you could easily win a ko by doing that. So, like, don't play it out until the end. Leave something there for grabs later, because that could come in handy much, much later. So that was one mistake he made where he could have beaten me pretty easily. The other thing is, like, back here, he made a pretty big mistake, too. Like, if I was playing a 3 or 4 down, I would have easily lost this game. Like, this particular shape, like when I was chasing him, you know, like I said, I was just using the influence to build territory on the bottom. But when I was chasing him, you know, there's several things he could have done to just get out. First of all, like this move, I don't think is that good down. You should have just jumped straight out. And the thing is, like, instead of trying to make eyes down here, instead of trying to make eyes down here, because this is my thickness. You're not going to get through this. You should jump out and try to attack my group over here. And that just and the result of that will just be kind of like how each person's fighting strength is. So if he had equal fighting strength, this would have ended up a lot better for him. But these particular moves aren't that good because all this does is build my thickness and build territory down here. And then you don't get any extra, it's not like you don't get any extra help for jumping out. You should have just directly jumped out. Like you directly jump out. No, you don't do that. You directly jump out here. Then you kind of like follow up me here. And then there's always like this move here as well. There's always this move here. And like this move and then like come out here to actually like try to fight. So like you have to understand that like doing this right now, I don't think is a good move because that leaves like that shuts off a lot of opportunities in the future. That I don't really see the purpose of that move. I mean, you are kind of protecting your whole self, but not really. I think you should just like, instead of going here, you should just jump straight out. Or maybe like do this first and then like try to cut here and try to like see how your fighting ability is. Obviously, like I think when he did this, he expected me to do something like that. But of course, like I want to expand my territory down here. So I come up this way. So once again, using the influence to build your shape and build your territory. And I just follow him down. The other option was to actually just like do this. I go here and then push him this way and build my territory down here. But that corner is always kind of sketchy. So I didn't want to do that. So here he's trying to do that. And now like I'm going to use my influence over here to kill his territory down here, which is exactly what I did. And this actually wasn't a brilliant play for me. He played that wrong too. What he should have done is like, I think at this point he should have like just cut here or something like that. Maybe not. I don't know. It's kind of a hard decision, I guess. I guess he played that okay. And then doing that obviously gives me a chance to connect here. He does that. I go ahead and do that to strengthen up my bottom. Then at this point, like this shape kind of favors him because he's pretty thick over here now and mine's kind of loosely. So he should have used this thickness to attack this group over here. But I capitalized on that right away and try to force him out. This is a bad move because right now, if you're trying to fight me over here, you don't want me to get like stronger down here. So that's actually a bad move. After doing this 4 first. If you just wanted to sacrifice the stone, that's perfectly fine. You would do this before like you put these 3 stones here. So over. And And of course, these moves don't make any sense because you're basically trapping yourself. And that's like, see like that move essentially, this move essentially like lessens your liberties because I can just do this. And now if I do this like I did later, you have fewer liberties. That probably is a necessity move at this point, but it's really hard to get out. That is probably served better by just doing this at this point, because now you want to try to attack this group directly. And this move is better for attacking this group directly. And then of course, like with that, I just do that. And then like, that's a very, very bad move. That strengthens me. And of course, like I'm going to simultaneously like attack this group down here because I feel safer up here now because he did that move. So like, there's just a lot of like positional mistakes that he made. I made tons of them as well, but he made more and I capitalized off that. I basically like, I didn't play a good game. This was actually an awful game by me. Admittedly, this was an awful game by me. I should have done a lot better than this. And if I was playing like on a higher Dan level, I'd be more careful. But I'm basically playing on instinct and reaction. But that's going to be good enough to beat like people in the 3K section. So like, you know, as this developed, there's a lot of mistakes that he made. But like, if you're a Q player trying to improve, like the mechanics, yeah, you should go after. But just the overall feel of the game, you really, really need to watch for. That's how you really improve on the game. Like I'm basically trying to like not give him too much territory while building my thickness so I can threaten his groups, right? Like this was a great move for him. And I actually had to come out. So I actually had to come out. Now, at this point, you have two choices. You can actually just force me to sacrifice this group in here and then force me to come out and take this down here, which would have been better than the outcome that he eventually got. But doing that is basically the worst of both worlds because now I do that. And of course, you know, if you're going to do that, you should probably just connect in here and get this group out. But then he goes back after doing that. And honestly, like, instead of doing that, I know like these are weak right here. I guess like that. Yeah, actually he has to do that. Never mind. Doing that. And then he does this. And then I do this. Now, after like doing all this, that's completely meaningless if you let me cut there. Because now you have to connect this. Otherwise, I have a ladder there. So you're going to have to pay that sometime. Doing that, of course, I do this. And then doing this, I do this. But these are kind of meaningless because I still have a ladder here. So in the end, he does this. Obviously, I connect here. Now, I made a mistake later on, obviously. I obviously made a mistake later on. I should have just connected because I have way more liberties than he does. So like I wouldn't have had to sacrifice these and give him that territory. If I just connected here, or if I just had like, you know, or if I just had taken this and finished this off, like I should have just taken this and finished this off. Then he would have lost all these points in here. That was just my blunder. Like I was being careless, obviously. But you know, at that point, like, you know, the game's pretty much already been, this fight has already been kind of like decided. I should have just taken this and I gotten this and just let him live off this corner. Because I forgot that these two weren't connected for some reason. That was just like me being careless. But he had ample opportunity here to actually turn this fight around or come up with a better fight. But he basically took the worst choice because he's focusing on one group at a time and not really thinking about what can I sacrifice this group to help the other group, or like what's the point value if I ditch this and you know, like focus on the other thing. Like I'm always thinking about like what I can get, how I can get the most territory, like based on all the groups available. But when you're in the lower single digit queue or in the double digit queue, you basically zero in on one piece at a time. And that allows stronger players to take advantage of you because they're looking over the whole board. Like once I did this, like, you know, like this group is pretty much safe. So you either just like do something like this, which I would actually like defend. You sacrifice this one stone in like 10 or 12 points, but then you also gain like 10 or 12 points here. So you're not losing too much here. And plus, like if you do this and I like do something like this, you have like a free hand to do whatever you want. So you get another move as well. And if I don't do something like this, then you can actually just go on home and you get points down here and I don't get anything. So like something like this would be a much more optimal move than like trying to break this out. Because this stone honestly is not worth very much right now. Hell, you could even just sacrifice a stone and do like just, you know, like get the corner here. That would also be a decent move as long as you're sure that you can actually live this group up here. I mean, here I would just probably do the undertake and make sure this group lives. and like deny black of as many points as possible down here using these two sides. That's a much better result than the one he got. So you need this. You need to like keep in mind simultaneously think of. You need to simultaneously think of like what's the most optimal like territory move I can make. Not just so much how can I win this battle, because some battles you just need to do okay, but build your influence for other battles. So I hope this helped you. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button, and I'll have more games and more explanations each day. Also, if you're a better player, like a higher Dan player, feel free to criticize me on where I'm actually speaking wrong, because I make a lot of mistakes, especially since I'm just playing off instinct at this point. I'm not really thinking at all. So like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button, and I will see you guys on the next game.